Okay, so today what I'm going to talk about is we're going to go over the landing pages, and if you're an independent, how you can get this on your website, and if you're a Cartridge World, how you can use this with your own landing pages. Everybody's landing page should have a couple buttons on them. For Cartridge Worlds, you get My CW Quote and My CW Login as part of your landing page. It's buried way down under the map, and I'm trying to get them to pull it up to a more prominent position, but right now that's where it is. For independents, you guys just take your website that you already have and add 2 buttons to it, and I recommend you put those buttons big and you know, very viewable on your website, and those buttons would just say, you know, request a quote and login/my account, and the login/my account will take them to I'll show you both pages here in just a second, but we'll give you the links to link those buttons to. So if you have your own website and you need to do this yourself, let us know and we can give you your specific link that will get to your landing page. And so when I say landing pages, this is what it looks like. There are 2 landing pages, one for a quote and one for a login or /my account type setup. So these 2 pages are really important because these are the only ways that a customer can interact with EasyOrder without you. So you'll want to get that 1 to 2% of business, even though it's not a huge chunk of business. You want to understand these pages, because if you don't understand these pages, you'll probably miss some business that's trying to be cultivated by the system for you. And so a lot of people don't necessarily understand what's happening with these pages, and so I wanted to do this webinar to really dive deep and show you this and then record this for future reference. So let's say, like, and I'll show you an example of a Cartridge World, Cartridge World USA.com, and you can, to get to one locally, 660. That's my zip code, and so Cartridge World Austin has these links. So down here, these are the landing page buttons. They are for you know, you guys, your customers, to find you and get on here, and it says quick and easy quotes on printing supplies and set up or log into your custom online order form. So from these 2 buttons here, the customer can click on them and then they can interact with you somewhat. So I'm going to go over here and show you. I'm going to mute wherever's phone that is ringing. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So we're going to go over here, and as soon as they click on My CW Quote, or if you're an independent, click on Request a Quote, it'll take you to this page for Request a Quote. Your header and footer will be here, so it'll be your branding and your graphics that will show here. And we start off with just 4 pieces of information, real easy pieces of information for the customer to fill out. If you present a customer with a really long quote form on your website, they're not going to engage with it as much as a simple form that seems to be not much effort to get started. So that was the thought behind this. So I'm going to go Cat is my name. My company name is RemanResource, and my email address is info@RemanResource.com, and my phone number is whatever. So what happens at this point is when we click Getting Started, this is what's called lead capture. And so even if the customer doesn't do anything from this point, this is still beneficial to you, because this is a lead capture type system for these customers who at least started a conversation with you. This is not somebody who has pulled the trigger yet and is going to order from you. This is just somebody who kind of is interested in maybe getting a quote from you. So when I click Getting Started, it then, as a customer, asks me, okay, now you need to add some items to the quote. Do you want to add items by printer or items by cartridge? I'm going to select printer, and then for here, the customer can go through and, you know, pick their printer type, their manufacturer. And again, we just wanted to keep it simple, so we said, look, if you're trying to find things, just type in the model number. You'll find it a lot easier than anything else. And then the customer just clicks on the button, chooses save, and now this item is on their quote with all these cartridges. They may not understand what everything is. They may not, you know, know what a fuser or a transfer roller is, but they get this. If they need to add another item to the quote, they just kind of rinse and repeat here. They just go here and like 8,600. And then that comes up and you can add the OfficeJet 8600 and save that, and all the cartridges pop up. And then when they're done, they just click send, and that sends the quote to them. If you have, there is a part in your settings where it says, and I'll show you that real quick. In your settings here, store settings and preferences, it has a way for you to, is it here? Yeah, services. So see the services tab. I had no check for all this, so you didn't see it ask the customer anything after this. But if you want to turn some of these things on because you offer these extra services, and the customer gets to this point where they requested a quote, right here it would say, hey, we also do this stuff, and that stuff, you know, like it was buying or leasing new copiers or printers, managed print service, office supplies, repairs, maintenance, recycling programs, secure shredding, and printer paper by the case. So they can choose, hey, I'm interested in paper, and I'm interested in managed print, I'm interested in buying a new printer. And they can send that to you right after the quote, and you'll get a separate email that says, hey, this customer's interested in this. So now you've gotten a quote from the customer, and now you've gotten some more information on some services that you offer. And again, you have to turn these on and save them in order for that to show up at the end of the quote. So what happened now that the customer put this quote in? What happened was, if you go to your manage quotes, you'll see that a new quote, this one right here, RemanResource Cat, the one I just did, now has appeared amazingly in my quote system from your landing page. So what the customer did was, without even talking to you, they got onto your website, they clicked request a quote, they filled out their quote, and they sent it, and now there's a quote in the system. So if you look down at the products, you know, depending on what you've priced in the system, the red products that show up here are items that obviously you've never set a price for. And so when the customer looks at this quote and they get it back the first time, some of them will have quote prices and some will say checking for price. And that's because these certain items that say checking for price, you've never priced in our database. And so because of that, they're not showing to the customer. It says checking for price. So we'll go back to the handy dandy notifications to-do list. And it says you have quote pricing, 2 new that you need to fix. So this is, again, why this is important. You click on quote pricing. Here's the one right here, unpriced items on quote. This is the quote that I just put in. This is your notification that today, you know, a quote was made and there's not prices on it. And so you have to go over here and you have to click on this quote pricing where the hand changes to the hand, or the mouse changes to the hand, and you click on that. And that takes you back to this quote where you can then edit the item, and you see where it has 0, and you would just put your prices in there. So, you know, $189.99 or whatever you charge, you know, for that. And if you want to remove things from the order form, like, you know, they're not going to use the transfer roller, and you probably know they're not going to do the dual pack, you can delete those items as well. So I'm going to save this here, and, you know, you can look at the quote again. You can delete items that you don't want on it. Otherwise, it'll still say checking for price. So you can come back in here, and I'll do that one more time. Oh, I deleted the whole thing. Whoops. But anyway, you get the point. You can edit these, put the prices in, and then when you're done, you basically save the quote, and then you mail it back to the customer. I have a question here from Lisa. If it doesn't say checking for price, will it give the pricing, say, special prices for the customer? We've allowed special pricing, not our regular ones. Well, at this point, this customer's coming from the web, and so it doesn't know what your special pricing would be necessarily. If you have priced that item before in EasyOrder and globalized that price, it will give that generic globalized price that you have. If you're going to pull up the 2612A, whatever price you have set on there, it's going to pull that up. You know, so it's going to do that. Now, there are other ways to price products in the system. Does not even have to deal. Yeah, so globalized prices are what we'll show, and anything else that's not globalized, you'll see checking for price, which means you've never priced it in the system. So back to pricing, there's another way to get around this whole process if you don't want to have to price these items, and I'll show you that here in a second. One thing I want to mention about this before I go on is sometimes you will get a quote from somebody and it'll come in and you'll be like, oh, I got a new quote, that's awesome, and then you go check it out and there's there's nothing there. And that's because there's a bail rate, and then we call it a bail rate in the industry. When you want somebody to do something online and they get to a certain point and then they bail on it, they quit. And this could be for 100 million reasons. I mean, it could be because it's lunchtime and I don't want to deal with this right now. It could be, I don't have a list of all my cartridges right now, and I need to get that, but for whatever reason, they hit getting started and they don't put any printers in. And so you're basically left with a quote that's not really a quote because you just have contact information. But the great part about that is you have contact information. So when somebody sends a quote through and it doesn't have anything in it, that's not like that's a bad thing that happened, because the customer couldn't figure it out. It's not that they couldn't figure it out. It's just because any one of 100 things could have happened during that time and they didn't have time for it at the minute. So they had to bail. So at this point, you have their company name, their contact name, you have their phone number, you have their email address, you have everything you need to contact them back and say, oh, this is a warm lead. This is somebody who wanted to get a quote from you. So when you call them back, it's a warm thing. So you say, customer, I just noticed, Kat, that you went on our website and tried to get a quote, and for whatever reason, weren't able to finish it. So can I help you finish this quote? If you just send me over a list, or you can tell me right now and I'll write it down, of your printer inventory, I'll get everything in a quote and I'll send it back to you, and then we can go over it together. And so if you get a quote with nothing in it, don't be stressed about that and think the system's not working. It is working because we're capturing hot contact information for you. And this is what you need to do to call them back and get them going and get them set up. So there's the quote thing. Now, talking about pricing to where you don't have to manage the pricing for things, on the quote system, we call this area where you can, just so we can talk same terms, okay? We call these areas the CCM inside of RemanResource. And the CCM means customer created module. And so these modules allow the customer to create their own order forms, allows them to create their own quotes without talking to you. So when I say the CCM, I mean the online portion. And the CCM is not your normal catalog of easy order pricing, and it's not your normal easy order customers. These are customers you don't know coming to you to set up their system on their order form. And so in dealing with this, maybe you don't want to deal with the pricing back and forth. Maybe you don't want to deal with checking for prices all the time and making sure that the customer, always gets a price back, because it is time consuming. And in this system where you check for the price, get notified, and then fix the price, that is for somebody who really is meticulous and wants to give the best price they can the moment that they give the quote to the customer. And so it's somebody who's very number driven, and they want to give the perfect lowest quote that they can to try to get the business as well as everything else. But for the other people who have a million things to do other than checking for prices all the time, and I'm at home, this is the control panel home, I go down to manage product data, and these three items right here deal with only the CCM. So these three items only deal with these online customer created modules where they can do stuff themselves. It doesn't affect your normal easy order people. It doesn't affect your normal easy order prices. But see, we have a thing here called set pricing by percentage. This is, again, only for the online piece. And what you can do is you can come in here and say, okay, if somebody comes to my quote page and they fill out their information and they put items on a quote, I don't want to have to worry about their pricing. I don't want to stop them in their effort to get a quote from me just to make sure that I have the perfect price. And so we put a feature in there called manage price or set pricing by percentage that only deals with the online piece. And basically you can add a setting. You can say, any manufacturer of laser cartridges, I want to give a 25% off margin to. And guys, that we have the up-to-date retail pricing from Staples. So the up-to-date retail pricing is going to be 25% off that. And so what this does, if I were to save this, this sets any manufacturer of Reman laser 25% off, and you can come back in and do the same thing for ink. You can go any manufacturer for ink, 25% off, and hit save. Then you'll get, when they come in through here, instead of being stopped for any item in the system that you haven't priced yet, it'll go ahead and give them a price on the quote that's 25% off of our retail price, which should be a good margin still for you guys. And some of you may be saying 25%, I can do 30% normally. And I did 25 on purpose. And this is a sales tactic. This is one of those best practices that I share with people that I get from my subscribers. And so this is one of those things. If you do the set pricing by percentage, set your pricing higher than you would normally charge for it in your store or in your location, because it gives you a unique opportunity in the sale, okay? So let's say your customer comes through, they get a quote, it's 25% off retail. You can probably do 30, 35% off, and that's what you normally charge people. So, you know, you can come in here and get the 25% off quote. You can probably do a better deal in the store. So when you get this quote and you realize that the customer, I don't know, is a CPA or a lawyer or doctor or some sort of large, you know, print, or even if it's just a normal customer and you want to get them in to the door, you can come back to them and say, oh, I noticed you got a quote and you got it about 25% off. That's our online price. But I tell you what, I can do even better in the store. And so let me review your quote and I'll give you a better quote. And so you maybe give them 30% off of that. And you send them another quote back that's even lower than the quote they originally got. And so what that is, it's kind of a mind game. You're raising your prices by 5% to lower them back down to your normal prices. They feel like you're their hero because you just gave them a special deal. They feel like they got some sort of discount, and then you get to give them the new quote. They're much more receptive to you after you did them a favor, you know. So however you want to do this, I'm just, you know, telling you stuff that's worked for people before. Either set your prices higher online. This also guarantees that nobody can really shop you for your prices. Shopping you for your prices, meaning your competition can't go to your website and then try to get a quote just to see what you charge for an item, and then you give your best lowest price and then they go and beat that. For here, if you get a quote, you know, it's 25% off and they come back to them with 30% off, you know, they think, again, you're a hero and you've not given away your pricing to your competition or anything like that. So there's a question from Lisa. What does that mean? You know, guys, we have the up-to-date pricing from Staples. Well, if you don't know, now you know. Every week, Reman Resource, we built a scraper that goes out to Staples' website and it pulls the highest national retail price, the one that's usually struck out from Staples. We pull that into EasyOrder. And so every week, it's not on every product that we have, but it's on most of what Staples sells. I mean, Staples is not going to sell a lot of copier-based stuff, so a lot of our copier stuff isn't tied to Staples, and we have to update that manually. But about 90% of what's being sold in the market and what's being sold at Staples, we have actually tied the product to the EasyOrder product with our scraper, and so it goes and scrapes Staples' website every week and you know, takes it from their website and then pulls it in. Yes, she says, you're saying that's the OEM price that's offered on the order form. Yeah, that's the quote unquote retail OEM price. That's where we're getting that from. And we used to only update it every 6 months, maybe, you know, every quarter if something changed and we knew about it. And it was a real big, long manual process. And so we wrote this software to go out and log into Staples and, you know, download these prices, you know, every week. So it's one of the benefits of having EasyOrder, is because you don't have to worry about pricing. There are times where that scraper kind of gets off, and so if you ever see a price in EasyOrder that's way different than Staples, you can, you know, let us know, and then we'll kind of, Staples moves their highest price around their website. I don't know why they don't just leave it called one thing and don't do that, but they do a lot of weird things like only see the price when you put it in the cart, and you know, there's prices for members and stuff like that. But you know, we try to track that highest nationwide retail price that they share with like Office Depot and everything else, and pull that into the system. So that's where we get our OEM price from, is we go get that, and it's every week, and so it's much more frequent than we were doing it before, and much more accurate. And so that's why you can do this 25% off of the OEM retail, you know, price, because we are doing that, you know. And also, if you don't want to go with like any manufacturer here, you can also get really specific. So if you're like, well, I know an HP I can give a stellar deal, or I get an awesome, you know, discount on Epson's compatibles, and so for Epson compatible ink, I'm going to do, you know, a 35% discount. And so you can get very specific to brand and to the discount, or you can just go any. I wouldn't do any and then add a brand, because that will mess it up. I don't even know if you can do that, but I just wouldn't do it. If you're going to go with any, stay with any. If you're going to do specific brands, then just do specific brands and don't do the all manufacturers. Okay, so there's that. That's talking about the set pricing by percentage. I would actually do this myself if I still had my brick and mortar, you know, business, because I don't want to micromanage these quotes. I want to get the customer a quote, and if they like the pricing, then they'll go with me. And if they don't like the pricing, I have a chance to give them better pricing, you know. So I would go with this system. It's less management on pricing, but then there are people who want to micromanage that quote and give the customer the best price. And in that case, if you were to do that, you know, I wouldn't use these pricing by percentages, and just wait for the notification to come through that you have a quote that needs pricing, and you'll get the quote. The other pieces of the managed product data area that deal with the CCM, the online piece here, are these two: manage availability by manufacturer and by product. So the question when we first built this was, well, I don't want my customer to see everything I have in the system. I mean, I don't carry CopyStar, and I don't really deal with Hassler or Gestetner or anything like that. And so we built the feature in there to go and disable things from showing up in the CCM. So you can actually check these items, disable them or enable them. And when a customer goes to search for an item, once they put in the quote, Gestetner won't come up. None of the brands that you have disabled will come up, and they just can't pick them. It's not going to be available. If you don't carry it, it's not going to be available to them. The other part of this, and it's kind of the same, different side of the same coin, but manage availability by product is the other one. And so manage availability by product actually allows you to take individual products and say, well, I'm not going to sell these individual products. You can go in here and take out, for example, a lot of times I'll take out, there are HP compatibles that live inside of, there's HP compatible Xerox cartridges that live inside the HP, you know, system for us. And so you need to see I have these all turned off, but you can actually go in here and type in the search Xerox and just hit go under the HP brand. And you're like, okay, when my customer's going from the quote form, I don't want them to be confused and see Xerox in my HP, because that would be confusing for a customer. And so you can go down here, and I would always recommend, if you're going to do something like this, display the max. And then you can check all these boxes all at once by clicking this. I don't know if y'all saw that. You can check all the boxes on the page at once by clicking this top link up here, and then you can disable them. And you'll see here the status, all these are disabled. And so in this account, not necessarily in your account, but in this account, when the customer comes to the CCM and they type in something HP, they're not going to even see the Xerox branded compatibles, because you've hidden that from them. So whether you want to hide, you know, combo packs or dual packs or A yield cartridges, low yield cartridges, you can just literally go around and type in keywords and, you know, look at the different manufacturers you have and take it off. And so the customer will be able to see these. Got a question from John. It says, does manage availability work when you have selected percentage by all? Yes. So the manage availability will work in hand with that. And so like if you have your pricing by percentage set up, and then you also say, I don't want to see this product, it just won't show that product regardless of what the pricing by percentage has the price set at. It just won't show the product. So they work hand in hand with that. That was John's question. Okay, so those are the items that kind of deal with you know, the CCM. These are things that only affect the CCM. They don't affect anything else. And there's that. We talked about the quote link. There's also a link for home. Hold on, there's another question. If we select to set pricing by percentage, won't it offer some ridiculous prices like 42.37 and on stuff like that? Yeah, it will. I mean, it's a percentage off the price. But again, this is more. This is the quote system is designed to be like a first touch. And if the first touch comes off a little strange in the price, it can always be cleaned up. And so you can even notice the cartridge price came in at $42.37, and then you can go in and change it to $42 or $43, $42.99, whatever you want, and you could send it back to the customer or let them order it at that $42.37 the first time, and then adjust their price on their order form later on. Because you know, you can just let them know this is an online quote. You know, it could change by the time, you know, you get to after your first order, and as long as it doesn't go like up from where you quoted them the first time, even if it goes down just by a little bit, they're okay with that. So if, you know, if you get a quote for $42.37 and then you have to change it to, you know, $41.99 because you want it to have a more substantial price, you can do that. And then because the customer's pricing on their order form is their price and not anything else, you know, they're not shared with anybody else, then only they see that price. So it's not bad to have a funky price, but you just know that if I'd rather give them a funky price than the market go up. Pardon me, I gotta kill my phone. And then have the market go up and my price stay the same. So now if Lexmark raises the cost of their cartridges like they've done recently, you know, your cost, your quote will go up with that. And so I'd rather have that system fluctuating in price with me than worry about the odd pricing that you kind of will get. And I agree, 42.37 would be an odd price on a quote, but you know, if it gets the business in, then you know, it gets the business in. Like I said, these areas are not, I don't want anybody to take this video and look at the importance of this as when your customer goes, hey, I want a quote, you say, go to my website and get a quote. Or, you know, hey, I want an order form. Well, go to my website and fill out this and set up your order form. EasyOrder still, the base of EasyOrder is still doing that customer service, that VIP, you know, feeling where you're creating something for them that they can't get anywhere else. You know, doing this is going to be, like I said, a very small percentage of your business. If you have a lot of exposure and you start pushing your landing pages, then you can get more people to sign up for these quotes. But these are really just touches. These are ways to get people to start to communication with you, and then it's up to you to kind of finish it in the way that you want. So if it's not perfect when they first do it themselves, because they're doing it themselves, you may need to, you know, fix it for them. Excuse me. So the next page we'll talk about is the landing page for login. And so using the cartridge world as an example, they have a My CW login button here. It says set up or log into your online order form. So when they click on that, they go to here. And so this is kind of your login page for EasyOrder. It contains a demo for the the video demo for the EasyOrder. You just click on it and the video demo for EasyOrder plays.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this quick demo of EasyOrder, our online ordering.
So they have the video demo right here. Returning customers can log in. If anybody ever has a problem with the icon, you can always direct them to your login page. If they, you know, are maybe the IT guy's like, won't let you install any software on your computer. You can always bookmark this page for your customer and then have them use your username and password that you gave them in their welcome email. And then from the welcome email, they have their username and password. They can get in here and log in at 100%. So if anybody doesn't want to install any, icons, they can still log in here. Again, that's not the point of EasyOrder. The point is to get that icon on the desktop, but we want a way for them to log in 100% no matter what. And the new customers, this is just like the quote, except for it takes them to a page to register and sign up. And so it's more information to fill out. And basically they have to fill out all this information here: email, phone, ship to, and then next. And when they click next, we capture all that just like we do the quote. And then it's up to them to add their own printers to the order form. And so sometimes you'll get a notification that a new online order form was created. And this is for the customer that doesn't really want to quote. They just want to set up an account and do business with you, and they want to skip that whole process. A lot of times, if you are trying to get your existing customer base into EasyOrder, you can do a blanket kind of email newsletter and say, hey guys, we've got this great online ordering. You can link to the demo video, which is cartridgereorder.com/demo for independents, and it's cartridgeworlddemo.com for cartridge worlds. And so either demo, you want to link to in that newsletter, show them the video, say, hey, would you like to sign up for this? And then send them, put this link in the newsletter. And then for people who don't want to wait for you to set them up on EasyOrder, they can go ahead and set themselves up. And then you're promoting the page, you're promoting getting people into EasyOrder, and you can push them to this page. Talking about pushing things to the landing pages, you can also do SEO to get people to your landing pages. I got a question about this yesterday on a conference call that I was on, and somebody said, hey, are y'all doing any SEO for this? And SEO is search engine optimization. So you're basically creating pages that link to these pages, and they're called landing pages. And so whereas Cartridge World has this Cartridge World landing page that links to these pages, and they can heavily promote this page via search engine stuff, you independents will have to do some SEO on your own to get people here. The easiest way to start it is with a newsletter and linking to this page, but then afterwards you can create landing pages that have certain keywords and different things on them. Maybe it's a blog post, that you have. Blog posts are really great for adding SEO to your current site, and then you link them back to this page, and that's pushing people towards this page. Maybe you go on LinkedIn and you put out there for the quote link, you say, hey, if you are saving too much or spending too much money on office printing, click here and get a quote from us. And so you can do those kind of things on LinkedIn, and you can do it even more. I mentioned yesterday in my conference call, people were asking about LinkedIn and how to market, for LinkedIn. LinkedIn for Business is one of the best tools that I have. I was talking about this yesterday, and I was telling my family about the LinkedIn marketing I started doing a few years ago, and my teen daughter was like, so it's like Facebook stalking for business? And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like Facebook stalking for business. You can go on LinkedIn, you can target a customer, you can look for CPAs, you can look for lawyers, you can look for specific customers, and then they have a thing called InMail, and you can send out 30 InMails a month with the Pro business package. And an InMail is an email that goes right to their LinkedIn inbox. And on average, most people get 2 to 3 InMails a week in their inbox on LinkedIn. And most of the time you read them because it's not often that you get one. So that's very, low frequency, but then a high rate of reading, whereas if you send a newsletter to somebody, they may not read it because unless they're really interested in your brand, they're probably not going to take the time to look at it. Plus they got 400 other emails that day, and your email's buried in that. And so if you can send an InMail through LinkedIn, you can send things like this quote link and just say, hey, we can offer this. If you're a Cartridge World, you can show them the office print challenge where they can do the game, and try to capture the lead that way. Or you can send them right to your quote page and get a quote for yourself. And so LinkedIn gives you 30 InMails per month. And my goal every month in my own business is to send 30 of those InMails a month, inviting people. For me, it's to go to a webinar or check out a demo of EasyOrder. But for you, it would be get a quote, or let me, give you a free cost analysis on how much money I can save you, that sort of thing. But that's definitely ways you can promote these pages and get people to them other than the traditional newsletter. So let's go back. I think that's all that I have to talk about for the landing pages. I'm going to open it up to questions. So I'm going to unmute everybody. Unmute.
Hey, Kit.
Yes.
Bill, I apologize. I was trying to follow you there. Can we just put people's email address in there and try to contact them through this? Is that what you were saying?
Through the quote system?
Yeah.
No.
Through what you just had here.
This is not for. I mean, you can do a quote with inside EasyOrder. So if you really wanted to do a quote yourself and send it to somebody, you would do it through your control panel. You would, go into here and go into manage. Sorry, let's manage orders. You go to manage quotes, and you just start a new quote, and then you would, fill out the quote. This stuff is.
So is that place if we only had their email address, that we could put their email address in there and tell them we want to do business with them?
I mean, this is not a way to solicit quote requests. This is a way for once you get it. Yeah, this is a way for once you get a quote request, you can send them a quote.
Okay.
But this piece online, you could promote this page, and if you knew their email address, you could say, hey, come get a quote from us at this page, and then they come in and then they fill this out and then they create their quote and then they send it to you. But this is a way for
that, will you be sending us that link so that we know how to get to there?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Cartridge World, it's on your landing page. It's right here. So
yeah, well, okay. I'll go down there and take a look.
You just click on it because it's different for each person. Like this one is this,
Right.
So it's different for each person.
Can we put those buttons on our Facebook page?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if Facebook will allow you to put a button on there, and I know that there's like a shop button you can put on your Facebook page, but yeah, put it on. That's a great idea. In fact, I'm going to write that down and add it to the list of stuff I talk about, because yeah, you can put it on your Facebook page. There's a button. I'm sure you could put get a quote and then link that link. Just go to your page here and click on it, and just copy this link into your Facebook, and then that'll be a link right on your social media to get you a quote. That's a great point. Absolutely, yeah. Any other questions about anything, really? I'm opening the floor up to anything. If there's a question you had about how to do something in EasyOrder or something you just don't understand, this is the kind of point of these webinars, is to kind of give you one topic that's kind of a hot topic, and then we can talk about anything else.
I wanted to send them all.
This is Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
Occasionally I get a notification at the top that says something about my login is out of date. I always ignore it and I go right in, but I just wondered what that was about.
I don't think that's coming from us. That may just be some sort. Do you have anything that saves your passwords or anything like that on your system? Like does your web browser save your password a lot?
Yeah.
So you just like auto log in for a lot of things. A lot of those can be your web browser kind of warning you that your password's not been changed for quite some time, but it's still letting you through. And so I'm pretty sure that's maybe a web browser feature. A lot of the web browsers are trying to keep everybody more secure and trying to get people to change their passwords more often. I'll tell you what, if you ever need something that will really help you out with password management, I have a program that I use. I believe it's free. It's called Dashlane. And you can take all your passwords out of your browsers so they don't manage your passwords anymore. And then they go all through Dashlane. And then as you'll see here, as I go through stuff, I see this little gazelle that pops up for me. Well, it will help you fill out forms. So if you fill out your address and your everything a lot, it'll help you fill out these forms. So you can get your browser away from managing your password and username and get something like that using it. It's much more secure, and then you probably won't ever see those messages ever again.
What's it called, Kit?
Pardon me? Oh, Dashlane.
Dashlane?
Yeah, Dashlane. It's a weird name for it.
Okay.
and it stores payment information. So if you go pay for stuff via credit card, a lot, it'll auto-populate your wallet stuff, so you don't have to type in your credit card all the time. It's all secure, so you have one master password, and then all your other passwords are behind it. Like you'll see here that has logins for Adobe and whatever you log into. It'll pull all those from your web browser that you already have saved, which in my case I had like 400 logins saved in my web browser, which is very not secure.
I got 30.
Yeah, and then they'll put them all into here. And then the great thing about it is that it's also available via your cell phone. So if you're doing stuff on your cell and you have Dashlane installed on your cell, it will also pull all this stuff into your cell. So when you're like, oh, I forgot the password for that, you have it at your fingertips pretty much anytime you need it. So it's free. I love it. It's very secure, and it's saved my life because I had too many passwords and I had too many sticky notes, and I had a whole Word document, just for passwords, and it was very not secure. They even help you by changing your passwords. You can set them to change, every 6 months automatically. But then the web browsers are logging you in, so you never even notice that the passwords have changed. So it just makes it really super secure for you to manage passwords. I know that's not EasyOrder related, but I also like to share fun software that
Oh, I appreciate that.
helps me be more productive.
One other question. Would you show us again the very quickest way, if we're on the phone with someone and they say, how much is your TN 360? Where is the quickest way to get to that information?
Yeah, if you're looking for your price on the TN 360,
yes.
Let me see if the quick product lookup does price. I'm not sure. Brother TN-360. Okay. It doesn't show price there. Let's see. It does. Okay, so that would be it. Let me go back and show you. We have the quick product lookup, and this is a feature that we built because people were like starting quotes to look up their pricing, and we wanted to have an easier way for them to do that. And so a lot of people will have this quick product lookup just open on a computer sitting, by the phone, whoever answers the phone. So you can go brother cartridges, and then you go TN 360, and then you find the one you're looking for, and then you pick it Reman, OEM, or compatible, you save it, and then there's your price.
Wow.
Okay, is that showing me my price, or is that showing me the
I'm
retail
sorry,
price?
that's the retail price. This is your price.
Oh, okay. It was
sorry,
just
I highlighted
embedded.
I highlighted the wrong one.
There's the retail price and our price.
Yeah.
30%. No. Our price.
And it'll show if you have your cost in there. It'll show your cost. It'll show the yield, and if you have a SKU, it'll show your SKU too. So we just wanted to give a quick way for somebody to be able to look something up that has their pricing, so they don't have to go to Staples and anything else.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Anything else anybody want me to go over? Anything else? I can talk about pricing if you guys want to do a quick pricing rundown, how to best manage your pricing.
Sure.
Okay. So this is kind of another thing that people struggle with is, gosh, how do I keep up with all my pricing? How do I manage my pricing? So you just go from here. This is the home screen. You go down to manage product data, and then you go to manage your pricing. Now when you look at this, I wanted to stress this: the products in here are you're only seeing products that you've actually put a price on. So these are not products that are just in our database. These are products you've actually set your price. And only these products will show up here. So it's showing you stuff you've priced already. So there's a couple ways to get this. And the first way is to add individual products. So you're going through your list and you want to do the TN 360. You can come in here and you can select which one you want and then save that. And then you can add your price, $21.99 is my price, and my cost is, $9, and the yield's that, and my SKU number is, that, or whatever. It probably won't let me do those characters, but you know what I mean. And then you can, sorry, that's adding, and you save it. And now that the TN 360 is in your list at the right price that you've saved it for with your SKU. It tells you the date that everything has been moved. Lisa asked, so if we've added something to an order form for a customer already, doing this will change all the order forms. Yeah, so if you update this price, anybody with an unlocked order form, it will update the item on their order form as well, because you're essentially going, this is my new global price. So if the prices change and your price goes up and you want to just do it in one fell swoop, you come in here, you add the item, you change the price, you save it, and anybody with an unlocked order form has it. Let me show you real quick though. Oops, I logged out. This is where you lock an order form when you create a customer and you go new. The first thing says lock prices for customers' order forms for special pricing. If you have this customer's order form locked and the customer's like this, then when you do that, it won't update their order form. They're a locked order form. So that's what I mean when I say if they have an unlocked order form, meaning they don't have a locked order form, when you do a price change or a price update, it will affect everybody in EasyOrder with that same cartridge on their order form. It keeps you from having to go and, find who has that on their order form, updating it yourself. It just it's an easy way to manage your pricing. Now that's a one-shot manage your pricing. The way I do it, and the way I would recommend doing it, is to do an export. When you do an export, you export all of our data. So you have to choose between ink or laser. And you export all of our data. And it gives you a CSV spreadsheet file. And so you come in here with the spreadsheet file, and you open it up. And I like working with the spreadsheet a lot better than working with, a system that's one by one. And so you'll see here, it's we have the manufacturer, the model number, the box name. When we say box name, the box name is kind of a secondary description for us. So if it's an HPQ 2612A, the box name is 12A, and we call it box name because it's usually what's on the box of the cartridge. It's also a secondary descriptor. So box name is there. Our retail price that we have from Staples is here. The easiest way to price your products, and this is, again, if you don't mind doing it on a percentage, is you can go, I want to do 30% off of this price, and I want to put that in this column. And you can sort of instantly price all your products in EasyOrder to a good margin, at least closer to what you want it to be. Or if you want to be more meticulous about it and go in here and say, okay, I want to do mine for, $99.99, what you put in this Reman price column is your price. And so as you go down the list, and maybe you want to, download from your point of sale your 100 most selling items, your top selling items, and you price those. You go through here, you search for them. You can really search for anything, like TN, 360, and search for whatever you're looking for, and it'll find it. I think I did that because I've searched this column and it doesn't have that in it. So let me do that again. So you just go TN360, and here's an example of the one I just did because I did the jumbo. When I priced that at $21.99 and put the yield and put my cost and then did the SKU number, this is an example of a product that's been priced in the system before. And so as you're looking at this, if you see prices out here next to an item, that means you've priced that item before. So as you go down, you can add pretty much whatever you want to. There are two rules to this as far as getting it back in the system. You have to keep row 1 intact, so this row has to stay there. And then when you save the file, save as, you got to keep it this CSV format. This CSV format is how the database reads stuff back into the system. And so when you save it as the CSV. I'll save that again, replace that file. And then to import this back in, all you do is you go to import and choose the file that you're looking for. And here's the pricing data. You choose that, you import, and then all those prices that you put in the spreadsheet are now into your system. So you can literally price hundreds of products, all at once just by putting this in the spreadsheet, filling out the spreadsheet, importing it back in, and you can do that. I do recommend that you export a spreadsheet every time you start pricing. And that's because if you go in and change the products and change the pricing, and then maybe one of your employees comes in and changes the pricing, you know, you want to download the most frequent version of your pricing. So when you're working with it, you're not uploading over old stuff. And so always export before you work on the pricing sheet. Don't just export the same spreadsheet, keep that spreadsheet around and keep changing it and keep importing it back in. So, you know, you want to export the freshest data from your system no matter what's been done. So every time you do it, export, then work on pricing, throw that away after you imported it again, you know, imported it back into the system, and then export it again when you want it. So that is the pricing, and those are the two methods we have for dealing with your pricing. It's really however you want to deal with it, but whether you want to do it one-off. And also you can, the third way of doing pricing is when you're on an order form and you're creating one for the customer and you're editing the item. Say you go in here and you change the price to, you know, $20, and now you want to make this price, and you're just on somebody's order form. Now you want to make this price permanent, you can select global, and when I save this product, it's just like adding it to the pricing database, because you're saying, I'm going to globalize this product while I'm creating the order form, and I just don't want to deal with this cartridge the next time I pull it up. I want it to be my price. And so you globalize the order form, and then, you know, so you're sort of, as you're building order forms, you're also pricing products. So, you know, that's the other part to this. So that's all I've got for pricing and products. Any other questions before I let everybody go? Nope. Well, I appreciate everybody coming out to the webinar today. This is, again, part of a weekly series. So we're just going to sit around and chat weekly on stuff. So if through the week you get a question or something comes up and you want to talk about it in the webinar, maybe see a demonstration of it, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. We'll be having one. You'll know if we're not having one that week, because there won't be a sign up for it, like if I'm traveling or something, but most likely we'll have them every Wednesday. So I appreciate your time, and thanks for attending our second webinar. Hope to see you guys on the next one. Take care. Have a good day.